Let's do it. Let's go. Let's talk some Texans here on YouTube. Appreciate you joining us. Is Nick Caserio low-key crushing it for the Houston Texans in free agency? We will attempt to answer that question as well as we get going here on YouTube. Late night Texans talk, baby. Let's have a blast. Let's have some fun. You guys know where the comments are. You guys know what to do with the super chats. You guys know that you got to subscribe. You got to like the video down below. But is Nick Caserio low-key crushing it in free agency for the Texans? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Of course, we love the comment interactions as well. All right, let's talk about this free agency so far. And we will get to some of your comments and some of your well wishes here. I know it's been a while since the YouTube's popped off. No time like the present to get going, as free agency is a few days in. Not going to lie to you. And I think a lot of you felt maybe the same way. Hey, what is Caserio doing to start free agency? Where's the money? Where's it going? What are you spending the money on, Nick Caserio? What are you doing with it? I don't know. It was pretty unimpressive the first couple of days. And I saw, I believe it was Todd McShay. No, it wasn't McShay. It was Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter said, hey, if you're going to get signed in free agency, you get signed on that first day. Or really, your deal's not going to be very good. The price starts going down each and every day. And the day one moves for the Texans were underwhelming. The day one moves for the Texans were not very fun. The day one moves for the Texans were just okay. All right? Just okay. Now, I was on the show. We finished up at 7 o'clock on day one of free agency, and then by like 7:30, 7:45, Jimmy Ward was on this team. So day one finished a little bit better. They made the trade on day two. There's a little bit more juice to free agency as it went on and on and on. And Caserio's doing some of that fun stuff that he does where he makes a good deal later after everybody else has made some of these big deals. So let's start with the first couple of days. We'll work our way through Sheldon Rankins today and the rumors of Denzel Perryman tomorrow. I had a big wish list for free agency. I wanted a veteran quarterback to mentor the quarterback they're taking at number 2. I wanted a center. I wanted something fun in free agency. I wanted some defensive linemen. I wanted a veteran safety to go next to Jalen Petrie. And that was the gist of my wish list for free agency. Now, there are various levels to that and various levels of commitment to what Caserio could have done. Ultimately, the veteran they brought in Case Keenum, I love that move. Case Keenum's the right guy for this. Case Keenum is going to be the right guy to show Bryce Young, or whoever they drafted to. I hope it's Bryce Young. Case Keenum's going to be the guy to show the quarterback they draft at 2 the ropes. Case Keenum in 12 and 13 was in the Gary Kubiak system. In Denver, they ran a similar system. In Cleveland, they ran a similar system. And now he's here in Houston running a Shanahan-Kubiak type of offense. I love that from Case Keenum. That one got a thumbs up from me in the first day of free agency. Jimmy Ward, the other veteran to show the young guy, the other veteran to add to the team here. I liked what Jimmy Ward brought to the table from a intangible standpoint, but Jimmy Ward brings to the table exactly what this team needs out of the safety position. This is one of the best run-stopping safeties in all of football. This is one of the more versatile safeties in all of football. He was the 11th best cornerback in the slot, according to Pro Football Focus last year. Now, he's going to play safety for the Texans, but that versatility, that mix and match, that play around with the thing that DeMeco Ryans has now with Jimmy Ward in the fold, I love that. That secondary is coming together real nice. You got to think about Stingley and Nelson on the outside, Petrie and Ward, the backups. Tavier Thomas is back in the slot. Desmond King is signed through this year as well. So there's a lot to like about this secondary. It's coming together. I wish Eric Murray wasn't here and they'd repurpose that money into something else, but hey, they like Eric Murray. And then if you got to get real deep on the depth chart, MJ Stewart is still here. Now, that was the extent of the, man, I really like what they did on day one stuff, okay? That was pretty much it. Hassan Ridgeway, that's a defensive lineman. That's a rotational piece that knows the defense, that clearly DeMeco Ryans trusts. Nothing super exciting about him. And Chase Winovich, I liked Winovich a lot coming out of the draft a few years ago. Long hair out of Michigan, defensive end, had 11 sacks in his first 2 seasons with the Patriots, but he's bounced around and been pretty poor. I think 1 sack in the last 2 years for Winovich. He's making $1 million, $2 million. He's not guaranteed to be on this roster by any means. He's fine. So day 1 was in the books. I was a little disappointed, not super thrilled with Caserio. There's some other moves that hadn't quite got done to that point that I was upset about. I kind of wish Cooks was out of here. I kind of wish Tunsil already had his extension, but I clearly was a little bit impatient. Okay? I was a little bit impatient because Nick Caserio had more stuff to work on. He had more stuff to work through in free agency. Noah Brown is a solid addition to the wide receiver core. In fact, both the wide receivers they brought in, I feel like I'm watching Moneyball with Brad Pitt playing Billy Bean, and every time they ask why they brought in a receiver, I feel like Caserio is going to point at Bobby Slowick, and Slowick's going to be like, you want me to talk? And he's going to be like, yeah, when I snap and point at you, you talk. Oh, well, the wide receivers that we brought in, they block well. Yeah, Robert Woods, Noah Brown, some of the best blocking wide receivers. No, by the way, Noah Brown probably would have been the second best wide receiver on this team last year, and probably right now is the second best wide receiver on this team. So solid, low value, low commitment. It's not a contract that if he gets outplayed in training camp that you feel like you have to keep. It's $2.25 million guaranteed, but if somebody outplays him in training camp, cut him. Who cares? Who cares? The addition of Shaq Mason's fantastic. I really like what Shaq Mason brought to the table in Tampa, like what he brought to the table in New England. And the upgrade over A.J. Cann certainly going to help ultimately what they do at the center position, and certainly is going to, you would hope, help Kenyon Green in his development. Shaq Mason puts his big old paw around Kenyon Green's shoulders and says, here, young guy, this is how we do it. This is how we become a big-time guard in the NFL. So those are the moves in the first couple of days. We'll get to Sheldon Rankins here in a minute, but let's get to some of your comments and things that you have to say. As always, super chats, go to the top. We'll address those. We'll get to those comments and pay attention to those quickly. And first, I do appreciate the super chats. They help support the channel. Thank you so much. JJ Stagg, a lot of depth at wide receiver. Who's the wide receiver? One, rookie Jackson Smith and Jigba. They play the game tomorrow. It's Robert Woods. He's wide receiver 1. They're going to add wide receivers in this draft. Plural. They're going to. And I don't know that's out of the question that they might add some free agent wide receivers as well. So with that, you could see this wide receiver room add some more bodies, certainly in the draft. Jackson Smith and Jigba was my favorite wide receiver. 12 may be a little bit too rich now with the addition of Woods, with the addition of Noah Brown. But if you don't want those guys to take you out of the equation for Jackson Smith and Jigba, maybe you move back a couple spots. He might still be there. I feel like he's going to continue to move up draft boards. He had a really good combine, so that one's tough. Zay Flowers is another guy I'm really interested in. Maybe a trade back candidate if you move back from 12. Maybe a get back into the first round type of guy. Zay Flowers is fun. Absolute dog. He's Steve Smith Sr.'s favorite wide receiver in this draft. Okay? Some of your comments here. Just need that linebacker. Hope another center comes available. Ryan Kelly. Victor, we'll talk about the center position. Denzel Perryman here in just a minute. J-Rock, we shopped at the mid. Yeah, that happened. Hey, look, you shop at the top for the head coach. You're going to shop at the top in the draft. You can't shop at the top everywhere, right? Got to save some cash. Got to clip some coupons at some point. I would have liked a big investment somewhere. And think about this a lot of times. The Cincinnati Bengals, the year they were going to draft Joe Burrow, they spent, I believe, it was about $80 million on DJ Reader and Von Bell. Now, those guys probably weren't worth $80 million and they're guaranteed, not guaranteed, but they're in their total contracts. But Von Bell played all 3 years of his contract. He's on Carolina now. DJ Reader's still there, turned into one of the best interior defensive linemen in all of football because they invested in a guy who was 26 years old, and then he got better. That's what I was hoping the Texans would do with a player here or there. That hasn't quite come to fruition just yet, but that was the type of offseason I was kind of hoping for when you think about DJ Reader and Bell getting added to the Bengals when they were going to have a rookie quarterback. So, again, those comments, we appreciate them. The super chats will go to the top. We'll go through some of those. We'll talk about Sheldon Rankins and the rumors of Denzel Perryman here in just a moment. Build up the cap space. Don't blow it all the way. Yeah, look, you're going to have stuff to spend money on here pretty soon. Titus Howard's going to be expensive. Laramie Tunsil's obviously going to be expensive. We're talking about maybe $25 million a year for Laramie Tunsil, and he's probably worth it from that standpoint. So, yeah, you don't want to just go spending willy-nilly, but the salary cap is very malleable. You can play with it, and just because the big money shows up in that first couple of years doesn't mean that you're always paying those guys big money. Okay? Can we start pushing Bijan at 12 as the agenda? I've been there. I like me some Bijan at 12. Not the best idea, certainly not the worst idea. I can see them trading up. I can see them jumping back into the first round. I could see them maybe if the right guy, they feel like they have to have him, you go from 12 to, say, 10, from 12 to, say, 9, something like that. The Bears want to keep moving back, maybe. Hopefully they're saving a cap to make some O-line extensions. Yeah, I think this is where you're going to see some of the money spent is Laramie Tunsil, Titus Howard, Shaq Mason. All those guys are done at the end of the year. That's a precarious spot to be in if you're the Texans to have 3 key offensive linemen all on expiring contracts. So definitely hoping that they get one of, if not all 3 of those offensive linemen locked up. Big Julian's listened to the radio show for a long time. He found us on YouTube, ESPN 97.5 in Houston, Mondays through Fridays, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. We have the ESPN 97.5 app. You can catch the clips here on YouTube. You can also watch it live on Twitch. And Big Julian found us on YouTube. He's a big listener to the show. Appreciate you tuning in, Julian. The Texans do that big draft party they did last year. Looked like so much fun on draft night 1. It's my understanding, yes, they are doing the big draft party. As we get a lot more details to that, I'll be passing it along to you here on the channel. Secondary looking deadly. Let's get a rookie CB later in the round as well. Yeah, a rookie cornerback to put behind Steven Nelson is something that I would really like. I wish they hadn't invested so much in corner because I like some of these corners that might be there at 12. Devin Witherspoon, even though the injury stuff's kind of popped up weird for him recently. But Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State. Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State is another guy that's pretty interesting to pay attention to and think about from a corner standpoint. Again, probably not a first-round investment, but some of these mid-round corners, some of these fast guys, it's going to be fun. What up to you, Freak one? We'll go with Freck. If anyone can make him good again, it would be D'Amico. Yeah, see, this is what you're going to find a lot, and I find myself in that mode as well. If D'Amico Ryans can't make you good, nobody can make you good. So a lot of these guys, there's going to be a bet on D'Amico Ryans taking them from whatever level they're in and moving them up and getting the best out of them, drawing the best out, maximizing their potential. That's going to be one of the big bets from a lot of these free agents and certainly a lot of these draft picks as well. Hefe likes the Shaq Mason addition. I do too. You know, it's not fun and exciting. It's an offensive lineman. But you got to have really good offensive line if you're going to have a slightly undersized quarterback and it's a rookie quarterback. You want him to have some clean time, some clean pocket time to make some plays. JJ, we answered that. Again, thank you for the super chat. Super chats go to the top of the line, folks. And again, JJ, thank you for that. The Nico disrespect. Look, Noah Brown's better than Nico Collins. What can I say? Do I need to pull the stats up here? I'm pretty sure Noah Brown in 2022 had better stats than Nico Collins. And I'm pretty sure Noah Brown played in more games than Nico Collins. Let me make sure before I stick my big fat foot in my mouth. All right, 16 games, 555 yards, 3 touchdowns. Nico, 10 games, 481 yards, 2 touchdowns. No Brown's better than Nico right now. It stinks, but he is. Nico's got to make a jump. This is do or die season for Nico Collins, okay? He's got to make a big jump. Moneyball references. Yeah, baby. Yeah. And you know what? They don't have to pay for their own Gatorade, NRG, like David Justice did. That's what it was. It was Gatorade, right? It was a Coke machine, Pepsi machine. I don't know. I haven't watched Moneyball in a while. I love Jonah Hill in that movie, though. He looks so out of place with his hat on his hair. It doesn't look right. I love it. He looks exactly like a baseball nerd or a nerd that got put into baseball. By the way, free plug, Liquid Death tea. I don't even like tea that much. This stuff's good. This is the Armless Palmer. It's worth your time. Nico's a good starter, but let's be real, he hasn't had the production of a wide receiver run. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have wide receiver 1 talent, I don't think. I think his ceiling's a wide receiver 2. That's why you got to get a star at wide receiver. And it's easier than ever to find a star at wide receiver. I mean, guys turn into big-time players at wide receiver sooner than ever. Like, if Nico had star potential, we would have seen Nico Collins' star potential by now. Carolina grabs Young. Do you think the Texans pass on Stroud because of David Mulligetta? David Mulligetta is C.J. Stroud's agent. He's also Deshaun Watson's agent. I don't believe that would be the only reason. Certainly helps build the case for why they might have passed on C.J. Stroud if that ultimately comes up. I don't think C.J. Stroud's going to be there for the Texans to draft. Certainly hope not. J-Rock, Mechie coming in also. Excited for John Mechie, excited for what he can bring to the table as well. Interesting because Steve Smith had Cooper Kupp as his guy. We see how that turned out. Yeah, Steve Smith on the NFL Network was very vocal about how much he liked Cooper Kupp. And Kupp, it took a year or two, but it turned into a really nice player. And in a similar offense as well. You got to think about that for Cooper Kupp as well. Blue light savings going off in Caserio's office. Man, I made the joke. And look, I again, it is just a joke, and I say it in jest. I joked to Landry Locker on his channel the other night. I joined him for some free agency talk. I joked to him the other night, man, it's a wonder that Nick Caserio's been married as long as he is because he only makes these 2-year commitments in free agency. It doesn't seem like he really signs anybody of length. And again, I'm joking. Caserio's got a beautiful family. But I thought it was funny that the commitments are so short and he's got such a great marriage. He's been married for so long. Hey, maybe she was she had more potential and more long-term talent than these free agents. Got to imagine that. Again, I'm just kidding. I don't want anybody to take this out of context. Just having a little fun there. You never be too careful in 2023, the year of our Lord. Zay Flowers would be good in a Shanahan-style offense. Zay Flowers going to be good anywhere. I like Zay Flowers a lot. He's a draft crush. I've talked about Zay Flowers on this channel for many, many moons. He's a draft crush, man. I love it. Love it. I think we're having a great offseason. Safety guard, wide receiver, D-line, really quality guys, too. All right, I'll get to some of these comments as I'll get to some more comments as well. I'm going to try to catch up to everybody. Oh, Matt Marr helping me out. Matt Marr with the super chat. Yes. Oh, it was soda. I think it was Pepsi. Maybe it wasn't actually named, but yeah, David Justice was mad they had to pay for their own soda in Moneyball. Did you guys see the Yankees? The Yankees, the New York freaking Yankees have to pay for their own Wi-Fi on team planes. Their own Wi-Fi on team planes. My God. Matt Marr, you're kind as always. Thank you for the reminder as well. I'll get my movie things jacked up from time to time. All right, I'm going to try to get to a bunch of y'all's comments here in just a second. Let's talk about Sheldon Rankins. Sheldon Rankins was quite the surprise. I had the day off from the show today. I was chauffeuring Mama Stutz around today, driving her around, hanging out with her. I checked my phone, and I'm like, oh, well, this is a surprise. This is nice. Sheldon Rankins, according to Pro Football Focus, was the 7th best interior defensive lineman in this free agency class. He's better than a few guys that already have contracts elsewhere. And I was excited for Rankins, and he played on the Jets last year. He kind of come into his own this season, some of the best stats of his career. He's ranked the 22nd defensive interior player, according to Pro Football Focus last year. And you factor in his success last year. You hope he keeps it rolling. He's just 29 years old, so you would think he can keep a lot of that going. You add him with Malik Collins. That's a really nice defensive tackle crew. You got to find some talent on the edge. So Jerry Hughes, I don't know if he's going to find the fountain of youth again. I don't know what to make of Jonathan Grenard. We talked about Winovich. He's a hope and a prayer that he turns into a player that you can count on. You're going to draft some guys at defensive end, but that's a really nice starting defensive tackle crew in Rankins and Malik Collins. And I would think that Rankins is going to take a lot of pressure off of Collins. Collins had the third best pass rush win rate of defensive tackles last season. Okay? So Malik Collins had himself one hell of a season last year. I really like Rankins right there next to him. And Rankins is definitely helping the run defense, which was god-awful last year. And they didn't spend that much money on Sheldon Rankins. Like, he could have gotten, I would think, a multi-year deal somewhere, but to get him on the one-year deal, paid him a little bit more than they did like Malik Collins a couple of years ago. But it's Malik Collins-esque. Because if Rankins plays really well this year on the one-year deal, well, then boom, you sign him up for a little extension like they did with Malik Collins. So that's the type of player that they added there. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. He's got a little bit of pass rush ability to him. He can stop the run pretty well. And he and Malik Collins is a nice 1-2. It pushes Ridgeway into that rotational spot at defensive tackle. And then you got Roy Lopez and Kurt Heinisch and Thomas Booker fighting each other for that final spot there in that defensive tackle room, because I'm assuming they're going to take about 4 guys. Then we see the rumor that Denzel Perryman is making his way to town. Now, here's something that I think is really interesting about Denzel Perryman. From a free agency standpoint, Pro Football Focus, and again, it's not everything, it's something, Pro Football Focus ranked Denzel Perryman ahead of Azeez Al-Shaair. Now, Azeez Al-Shaair got signed by the Titans. He played for the 49ers last year. It makes sense that he fits the Texans a lot more than Denzel Perryman does. Like, it makes good sense that he would fit the Texans, okay? Because he was familiar with DeMeco Ryans. He's familiar with the system. He's going to be a little bit more expensive because he's younger and he's on the come-up. Denzel Perryman, a little bit older. He's 30 years old. He's played a little bit here in the league. He's got a Pro Bowl under his belt just last season, 2021, not 2022. He was a Pro Bowler in 2021 and solid player. Again, a guy that can really help you stop the run. And he shouldn't cost a lot. The commitment should be a shorter term one, I would think, similar to what he just finished with the Raiders, which was a 2-year deal that he had signed initially with the Chargers when they traded him. This has come together nicely, okay? I was too far in the woods to see the trees on day one, okay? But they've done a good job of rounding this thing out. Still would love something fun, to pop up. Maybe the fun is, hey, you got Mason, you extend him, and you extend Titus, and you extend Laramie, and you got 3 offensive linemen locked up for the next 4 or 5 years. Maybe that's the fun part. But that is indeed where we are with the Texans in free agency. Okay, let's get to some more of your comments. I'm 9 minutes behind over here, so I'm going to fly through these as much as I can. I want Tunsil as long as possible. Never have to worry about left tackles, LTs there. Hey, absolutely. If Larry Tunsil can't get paid by the Texans, who can get paid by the Texans? Sheldon Rankins is better than people think, especially how terrible the line was. I'd like them to take a defender at 12 or trade back. I'd like an edge guy at 12. Julian, Austin Eckler or Zeke fit with the Texans? Eckler, no. I don't want to spend the money on him. It feels like he might go to the Bears because they have the money laying around for him. And Zeke's just a hammer at this point. I don't want Zeke here because Dameon Pierce is going to be the hammer because hopefully you're drafting somebody to go with Dameon Pierce. Marco, hello. Stoots, what center would you prefer in the draft? And we'll talk about centers here in a minute. Damn it. Stinking centers. We'll talk about that in a minute, Tyler. Appreciate you asking the question. We'll get to it here in just a minute. What's up, Cody? What happened? What'd I miss? Well, you didn't miss everything, but you missed some. That's why the little bell at the bottom will give you notifications when these things pop off. I know it's been irregular. It'll be more regular. Stucci, there's a billboard in Ireland with your face on it. Keep up the good work. What? What does this mean? There's a billboard in Ireland with my face on it. Did you hack some video billboard and put the YouTube up there? If so, hi, Ireland. Hi. I wouldn't want Zeke. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, I don't think. Everyone but the center. Are we drafting a center? Good free agents off the market, it seems like. Again, we'll get to the centers here in just a second. Get to the centers here in just a second. Birdie, hello to you. Steve Smith does not like Quentin Johnston from TCU. I don't like Quentin Johnston from TCU. And I'm a Big 12 homer. I don't like Quentin Johnston from TCU. And my co-host BK on the Wheelhouse, Mondays through Fridays, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5 and the ESPN 97.5 app will tell you Quentin Johnston's got trouble catching the football. It's tough to be a big-time wide receiver when you can't rely on you to catch the football. Kind of wish they made a bigger push for weapons for your rookie QB, but I like the Shaq Mason and Noah Brown pickup. The weapons are going to come. You got to remember, Dameon Pierce is coming back. That's a solid weapon. They're going to add a tight end, I believe, either via free agency when some of these deals start showing up or in the draft. And then I believe they're going to add wide receivers in the draft as well. Yeah, the soda brand for David Justice wasn't specific. He's just mad they had to buy their sodas. I guess you probably wouldn't pay money. I mean, look, if Moneyball the movie's not spending a bunch on product placement. They also have to ask the Astros permission to fly on the plane. Yes, the Astros have to walk them to the gate because they're the Yankees' daddies. That's funny. Mr. Roebuck, we trade down to maybe early 20s if someone wants Jalen Carter, a player falls in the draft trade from 12. And then Joe Blue, I want Jalen Carter. I don't. And here's why I don't want Jalen Carter anymore. Everything's got to him. It's up here. And for him to show up heavier at the pro day than he did at the combine, not even finish the drills breathing hard, I don't think it's the body. I don't think it's the wind. I think it's up here. He went through a very traumatic experience. 2 dear friends of his perished in a car accident because he was street racing with them. Forget the legal standpoint. Forget the legal stuff. I don't believe there's going to be hardly any legal repercussions. It's the between the ears repercussions with Jalen Carter. He has to live with that for the rest of his life. That when he drove away from the scene, he might have believed 3 of his friends died. Ultimately, 2 of them did. I hope one mistake does not define a human being. I hope he gets the help he needs. I hope he never does something like that again. I hope he becomes a cautionary tale for stuff like that. But I'm worried about Jalen Carter between the ears more than anything else right now. Lucas Van Ness or maybe even Tyree Wilson. I mean, sign me up for Tyree Wilson. Run the card up there if Tyree Wilson's there at 12. Don't take 10 minutes. Take 10 seconds. Get Tyree Wilson's name up there. I like Lucas Van Ness. They call him the Luke Ness Monster. They also call him Hercules at Iowa. J.J. Watt-esque, not as thick and big as Watt. He actually profiles a lot closer to T.J. Watt from that standpoint. And athletically testing, he's pretty in between T.J. and J.J. From that standpoint. They should, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. Draft a tight end, add tight end. I think that's maybe what he was referring to. Mike Boone is the only questionable signing, so I don't know if he makes the roster. Yeah, the joke I made the other day was Mike Boone's a weird way to spell Marlon Mack. A veteran that gets cut in training camp. Michael, hello. Good to see you. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Got over 100 people here on a now officially Thursday morning, Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Tourney day, baby. Hope you got your brackets ready. Hope you get your bets in. Gonna have a blast. I'm headed to Lake Charles here in the morning. Hang out with some college buddies of mine. It's gonna be a fun few days. Appreciate you tuning in to talk a little football with us before basketball takes over for a couple days. What's up with Denzel Perryman mumbo jumbo? We got him or not? Apparently they're talking to him tomorrow. That's the plan. They're gonna talk to him tomorrow. And if they get Denzel Perryman, I really like that addition. That's a guy too, been around the block, former big-time prospect, former big-time investment from a draft pick. The Chargers kind of handed that linebacker spot to him. could be a very useful resource for Christian Harris as he kind of grows up in the NFL. We should trade Cooks and a 7 for Queen. J-Rock, one message, J-Rock, one message. Yeah, I'd take Queen. I want a 4th or a 5th. I believe you can get a 4th somewhere for Brandon Cooks. I really do. I really do. Thought you're on vacation, Miss Jill, the Wheelhouse. Those guys held it down today. I am on vacation from the Wheelhouse. I'm not on vacation from you guys over here on YouTube. 12th pick, wide receiver or defense. I'll go defender depending on who it is. Tyree Wilson's there. I'm taking him. If Lucas Van Ness is there, I'm taking him. I like Myles Murphy more than most, so I maybe would take him. And the only wide receiver I would spend the 12th pick on is Jackson Smith and Jigba. So that's that's the only one I'd spend the 12th pick on. Van Ness had like 17 reps on the bench. I don't want to say I don't care, but I wonder if he has a long arms excuse. But you'd like to see more. Sure, you'd like to see more from Van Ness. Not my favorite defensive line prospect. Not my favorite. Pretty good. Tape doesn't lie. I agree with Stu's stressful past 14 days for Carter. Man, he's had a rough couple weeks, man. Rough couple weeks. All right, I got the banner rolling here on the bottom. What's the best move so far? Get in the comments. What's the best move so far for the Texans? I like Jimmy Ward the best so far on the defensive side. He is an excellent run defender. He's a veteran to pick for Jalen Petrie to pick his brain. He can impart a lot of that on Jalen Petrie. He's versatile, can play a little nickel corner for you if you need it. And when he did have to cover guys, he looked okay last year. Plus, he's just been through the damn ringer, man. He was on all 3 of those one-and-done coaches in San Francisco, including Harbaugh's staff, before they did the 3 one-and-done coaches. And he's been on Shanahan's staff, former first-round pick, career started down here, dipped back up. He's been through it all, man. I like Jimmy Ward on defense. On offense, it's obviously Shaq Mason. And I see everybody, Shaq. It's like a Lakers early 2000s game. Shaq and Woods. Shaq Mason better. Look, you kind of stole that guy. 6th-round pick for Shaq Mason and a 7th. I'd be interested to know. Let me pull up. Okay, stay with me here. I'm gonna go hit Pro Football Focus real quick. They've got a very cool, like, kind of interactive screen here where you can sort by positions. You can sort by overall ranks of various positions, as well as the overall PFF ranking of these guys. I'm trying to see where Shaq Mason would get ranked if he was a free agent. He'd probably be somewhere between the 30th and 40th best free agent overall, and he probably would be the 2nd or 3rd best guard. So you got the 2nd or 3rd best guard in free agency, essentially, for trading the 6th-round pick. I mean, how many 6th-rounders are going to be as good as Shaq Mason? None of them, you know? So that's got to be the best move because he's the best player. Okay? Shaq Mason's been the best player they've added to this team. But Jimmy Ward, I really like what he brings on defense. on defense. All right, let's hit another little banner here. Biggest gripe so far in free agency. Biggest gripe so far. If you watch the channel, if you paid attention to the show on ESPN 97.5, you know exactly what I'm about to say. This center position is not in a good spot right now. I don't like where they are from a center position. And I understand that the premier centers in free agency went back to their teams. And that's not ideal. And it's hard to pry guys away from their team, but they didn't make a tremendous amount of money. And by they, I mean Ethan Posich in Cleveland, Garrett Bradbury in Minnesota, and Bradley Bozeman in Carolina. A couple extra bucks you would think could have got them to Houston. Okay? A couple extra bucks could have got them to Houston. That's my big gripe. I understand there's good centers in this draft. I get that. We just watched an interior offensive lineman get his ass kicked for an entire season as a rookie. I didn't want a rookie center and a rookie quarterback together. I wanted a veteran. Yes, I know the name Ben Jones is still out there. Yes, I know Connor McGovern's still out there. Not ideal. You could do worse. You could do better, I would hope, than Connor McGovern. And look, I don't want to rule out Nick Caserio pulling off some sort of fancy trade or something. So that's my biggest gripe. What's your biggest gripe? We'll get to those here in just a second. Oh, look who it is. It's Landry Locker, the locker room featuring Landry Locker. It is a must subscribe here on YouTube. He does it every day, multiple times a day, does it better than just about anybody else. At Landry Locker, youtube.com/@LandryLocker is where you can find Landry's page. Subscribe to him. I pop on his channel from time to time. One of these days, he'll pop on the channel with me, and we will have some fun on here. A can't-miss resource if you're following the Houston Texans. Cooper, no center. Yeah, no center. No center is my biggest gripe. Look, you can't fix everything. At some point, you run out of money. You have to, identify how you fix some of these things. But I would have thought center would be higher on the wish list. Robert, not being aggressive with center and linebacker. Denzel Perryman shows up. You weren't aggressive with Denzel Perryman. He's kind of come to you here as free agency has got going. But no aggression at center. I'm with you. They talked to the guy in San Francisco. They talked to him, but he wanted to stay in San Francisco. That's tough. He stayed in San Francisco. Bradbury stayed in Minnesota. Bozeman stayed in Carolina. And Postage stayed in Cleveland. And I didn't think Cleveland was going to have the money to pay him, but they did. They did. No linebacker, edges, or center. Linebacker could be addressed here pretty soon. Edges, there wasn't an edge I loved. Maybe you want to say, hey, they should have spent $13 million on Marcus Davenport, I guess. But even then, I'd have signed Arden Key. Nice enough player. I'd have signed him. $7 million. So, Matt Marr, generous as always. Landry is him, 100%. The GOAT. Hey, Landry says he's the best on YouTube. Who am I to say that he's not? Everybody's playing for second right now. So everybody's playing for second when it comes to covering the Texans on YouTube. Landry's the best. I'm trying to get on his level. He doesn't take care of you late at night, though. I'm just saying. And he got to wake up and work earlier than I do. So he goes to bed before I do. But he doesn't take care of you late at night. So I'm the best late night Texans YouTube channel. Okay? Put it into categories, baby. I'm the best late night Texans YouTube channel. Matt Marr, generous as always. Thank you so much. All right, what's your biggest gripe? What's your biggest gripe here? Trade Cooks for a center. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. I hope Quessenberry isn't our starter. He is terrible. Not great as a starter. One good last year. Look, hey, maybe a guy improves. I just don't know if the overall ability is there from Scott Quessenberry to be the starter. Bringing back Eric Murray or Scott Quessenberry re-signing for all that money. It wasn't that much money. The Murray thing is weird. I don't know. I don't know what the Eric Murray thing is. Why he gets to stick around. Not cutting Reeves-Maben or Eric Murray yet. Murray's going to stay. Reeves-Maben, Wouldn't count on him sticking around through training camp. I'll just say that. Biggest gripe is 2-year deals. Yeah, would love to throw a 3-year in there. I believe the only 3-year contract from a free agent or for a free agent has been Cam Johnston, the kicker, who looks like the stand-up comedian Bill Burr. What do you want to do to address center? I prefer a veteran. So if there's a trade, if there's a cut here in the next couple of days, if you have to go rookie center, I don't love that. I'll take the talented option, though. Like, I'm not just having an old guy who's played in the NFL to have an old guy who's played in the NFL. That's how you end up with guys like, I don't know, Justin Britt. So I don't want it to be that level. I prefer a veteran. This cat named Coleman Shelton from the Rams was out there still. Connor McGovern's a name that gets thrown out there. Ben Jones is a name that gets thrown out there. So I prefer a veteran. Yeah, so the guy everybody brings up is this John Michael kid. John Michael Schmitz, the center from Minnesota. He's the guy that everybody brings up and, looks like a solid prospect. Worked out pretty well at the combine. NFL.com has him graded as will be a starter, a good starter within 2 years. And his NFL.com comparison is Ben Jones. So you can do worse. Mike Boone better be better than Rex. I think Boone's going to be better. But I also don't believe Boone's going to be on the team when they break camp. Okay? Color me surprised. Owen's still on the team. Jonathan Owen's still a free agent, I believe. Like, you got to be, sometimes this stuff popping up. Okay, see? This happens, okay? There's so much stuff that happens. Guys pop up. Now, okay, Skelton. Was it Connor McGovern or was it the other McGovern? There's two. Okay, Connor McGovern. Okay, there you go. No, what am I thinking of? Connor McGovern. Played with the Jets last year? There's two McGoverns in there? Maybe not. Maybe I'm losing my mind. See, you gotta be on top of these things from pretty much nonstop. Okay, hold on now. There's two McGoverns. Dang it. Can somebody fix this in? They're both Connor? Now, I knew there were two McGoverns. Hold on. There's a lot of famous Connors. So there's a Connor McGovern who played for the Jets, and then there's a McGovern that played for the Cowboys. The Cowboys one signed with Buffalo. The Jets one is still a free agent. Okay. We have this cleared up here. Did they spell their names the exact same? That's wild. Their parents should have got together and, they don't know, but all right, Connor McGovern and Connor McGovern. Yes, okay. Wow, they spell their names the exact same. All right, got it. Y'all broke my freaking brain with that, all right? We're good. We're squared away here. We know what we're doing here. All right. Connor McGovern, the center, not the Bills' former Cowboys McGovern. God, put my brain in a pretzel. All right, Q&A time. Whatever you want. Fire away on whatever you want. No. I feel like Michael Scott. No. God, no. Q&A, get them in, whatever you want. Super chats will go to the front of the line. Denzel Perryman is going to visit. That's somebody I'm interested in. I don't believe they're going to talk to many more free agent wide receivers, but it would be interesting to see if there's a veteran that they like that's an outside only guy, like a reclamation project guy. I think the name I think about the most when I think about this is Mecole Hardman. You know, you got to be careful, guys. Guys get signed, you don't see it. Okay? I think a guy that I think about is Mecole Hardman. You know, outside, disappointed a little bit in Kansas City, bounce back potential. Yeah, Thielen plays inside, so with Woods and Mechie, I think you're good on inside guys. I think you're good. Flossie, I'm kind of with you. I maybe I'd like the Schmitz kid better than other Connor McGovern. Do we try to sign Clowney? No. It's not the worst idea because he's kind of in mercenary mode. Well, he'll go wherever the money is, wherever the money's right. And the money's probably not going to be that much compared to some of these other guys. But I just don't know that you want to bring that back. It's just a lot of extra. And I'd prefer to have some other guys who've had less opportunity and then some draft picks at the defensive end position. Throw Sir Stutz at center. I did not play offensive line when I played football. I was a defensive lineman. But I did do some pass blocking drills at a 1560 the game Christmas party one time, dressed as Santa Claus. And Alonzo Highsmith told me that I missed my calling. So take that for what it's worth. I blocked some drunk people when I was at the peak of my athleticism and they were maybe past their prime. And a NFL scout at the time told me I missed my calling. So take that for what it's worth. Starting to come around on Zay Flowers at 12 over the field at wide receiver. A little rich for me, but a trade back and pick Zay Flowers, I'm in. I can't do it at 12, but trade back and pick Zay Flowers, I'm in. Again, question time. We'll answer some questions for a few more. I would very much appreciate a like down below. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. The link to subscribe is down below, so is the subscribe button. Your super chats are very generous. I thank everybody who's had the super chats tonight. And you go to the front of the line if you have a question and you do the super chat. They're very useful to making the channel better. You know what I got for the banner? You know what I got? I got nails, so it won't fall down anymore. I was doing a video the other day, and it fell down in the middle of the video. Okay? You know what? I bought nails, okay, with the super chats. So you should go for the old 2 years for Denzel. Yeah. The old 2 years. Look, I'll say this about Nick Caserio. His free agent commitments last longer than most of my relationships. So I'll give him credit on that portion. What are you most disappointed with the Texans not capitalizing on in free agency? Capitalizing is interesting because they didn't have the most money of the bad teams. And they clearly desire draft picks playing some big-time roles in the team going forward. So, I do believe you could have lured some of those centers away. I do believe that. Rumor is Ryan Kelly getting cut from the Colts as a cap casualty. They're attempting to trade him, which is another rumor. So this makes a ton of sense. And here's why. Ryan Kelly's coach is the offensive line coach for the Texans now. The guy that's coached Kelly for the past few seasons is the guy that coached him, or the guy that would be coaching him in Houston. So this makes a ton of sense. I would like this. Ryan Kelly's legit one of the nicest guys I've interacted with in football. I used to do post-game interviews for SiriusXM, and if the Texans lost, I go to the opposing locker room, and Ryan Kelly waited and waited, gave a really good interview after they whooped the Texans one time. He's very good. Hey, why weren't you at work today? I took the day off, and I have the day off the next 2 days as well. Joe Blue, appreciate the super chat. Trade for center Ryan Jensen from the Bucs with no QB. So the Bucs are weird because they've got no quarterback, but that offense has a little juice to it with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and a couple of pieces taken care of on that offensive line. And they re-signed Levante David and they re-signed Jamal Dean, 2 of their big free agents. But their quarterback situation is Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. So I don't know what they're doing. I'd trade for Jensen. I'd maybe be a little worried. About the injury lingering. But, yeah, I would trade for Ryan Jensen. The Texans drafted Trenton Simpson. D'Amico would make him a boost. This is the linebacker from Clemson. I tend to agree with that. I'm going to assume pretty much any linebacker they spend a draft pick on, D'Amico feels pretty good about his chances to make him good. The McGovern from the Jets. Yes, the McGovern from the Jets. That's what we ultimately decided on. Nicole Hardman has medical issues. Don't we all? Yeah, maybe there's better swings to take from a wide receiver standpoint. Like, I don't know, DJ Chark do anything for you? I don't think he's signed yet. You want Julio here? Well, Julio and Robert Woods be the best team in the world in 2014. Wait, let me get it. There's only one page of free agent wide receivers in Pro Football Focus. Nelson Aguilar? I mean, he drops the ball too much. Don't want him. I give him a B- in free agency. Blue Boy Fivine. I feel like I'm not cool enough to say that I'm saying it wrong. What would you give? What grade would you give? B- feels pretty good. I'd say B because they haven't destroyed any cap flexibility. I'll say B. Little boost from the B-. Monday during the show, I was giving it like a D. By the end of the night, I was up to like C+ because I really like Jimmy Ward. And then with Shaq Mason's addition, Sheldon Rankins, you get one of these linebackers solidly in the B category. Call skinny Chris Myers. Chris Myers is a great human being. I love Chris Myers. I did some radio with him. I got to write some jokes for the roast of Chris Myers. Chris Myers, good dude. Good dude. The Mac. 4 or 5 centers in the draft. Relax. The Mac going to Aaron Rodgers on me. I don't want the rookie center and the rookie quarterback. That's my big concern. Deion Jones or Anthony Walker Jr. Look, reclamation project guys are going to be interesting because most of us are going to feel like D'Amico Ryans is going to turn these guys into absolute badasses. So anybody who's failed elsewhere, we're going to think about, adding them to this team, and D'Amico Ryans and staff turning them into monsters. Paris Campbell hurt a lot. Familiarity with the division maybe helps him a little bit. How many trades in the draft this year? I probably no less than 3. I would think a move back from 12, a move into the first round, maybe in 33, at the very least moving into the second from the third because they have the 2 third-round picks. So, yeah, I would think those at least 3, and then some stuff in the mid-rounds too. They're going to draft a player in the 5th round. They're going to get a 5th-round pick. So I don't know how. Probably via trade. Well, Jerick McKinnon, Kareem Hunt. Not opposed. They'll be there. They should be there after the draft. So backup plan if you don't draft who you want to draft. Sean says C+. What do you think about Eckler? Too much money. And you don't want to start a new contract with a guy at running back when he's turning 30. B+. These are really sensible signings. if Kareem Hunt's there post-draft and you don't like the running back room, I'd bring him in. Not the best off the field, but maybe Caserio doesn't care as much as the previous regime seemed to care. I know you're pro signing a vet center, but there will be so few quality ones left. Why not draft a solid one if he's better than last year's starter who re-signed? Why not? Yeah, look, end up with the most talented guy. I'm just going to have concern about the rookie. And I'll be interested to see what Nick Caserio, Bobby Slowick, and D'Amico Ryans have to say if they end up with rookie center, rookie quarterback. I actually like Devin Bush. I mentioned him as a flyer player this week on the show. 10th overall pick by the Steelers. They traded up 10 spots to get him. Played pretty well, got hurt, and then wasn't very good after the injury. So you do wonder if maybe a year away from the injury he could get a little bit better. But I think just the overall athleticism took a step down. But was formerly thought of as a big time player. So I like Devin Bush. Denzel Perryman again on the visit tomorrow. All right, couple more. Yeah, Slay sticking around with the Eagles. This was interesting. Hey, we're going to release him. Actually, we're going to keep him. Flossie, phone about to die, man. No charge at work. I forgot it. I'll rewatch, though. Have a good one, y'all. Flossie, appreciate you tuning in, man. Appreciate you tuning in. And let's see here. One last one. Do you think Brandon Cook's trade is coming soon? Before the draft, certainly. Let's see if some of these wide receivers price their way out of a free agent deal, and then ultimately Cooks his money and the talent that he has. Look, he's not a bad player. Maybe his free agency prices themselves out of the market. Like, I don't want to pay that much for that guy. I'll just pay what Brandon Cooks has left. And Kendall, with the final one of the evening, chance of signing DeAndre Hopkins. 0. Hopkins ain't coming here. I don't believe they want Hopkins. The Giants should get Hopkins. I know the Cowboys players are interested. Micah Parsons was tweeting at him the other day. So that's that. All right, one last one. I lied. I'd rather get a rookie at running back than get Kareem Hunt. I'm with you. Again, Kareem Hunt, if you don't like the running back room after the draft. All right, I have a question for y'all before we finish up. I have a question, okay? Do you guys like stickers? Okay? Do you guys like stickers? Because I got a couple of sayings that y'all seem to like. And I just simply asked, do you like stickers? And then, of course, Sean hits me with yeah, my kids do. Thank you. I'm working on stickers. Some people said, hey, T-shirts. T-shirts are tough. They're expensive. Little stickers, like $2 a pop. Maybe put them in like a little 4 or 5 pack or something like that. You get a little deal on them. But like some eat good, sleep good, be good stickers, some era good vibe stickers, some shop at the top stickers. You know, we got some fun, goofy sayings. You slap them on your water bottle, or you put them on your laptop, or stuff like that. Only when they double as pasties. Eddie, I'm not going to do that. You're on the wrong website, Eddie. You're on the wrong website, damn it. Something with an only and something about fanatics, only fanatics or something. That's where the good smelling ones. They're not going to be scratch and sniff. Okay, scratch and sniff stickers from the Texans would smell like disappointment right now. All right, so maybe some stickers. Well, we might have some of those available here for you guys to pick up here in a little while. Got to kind of get the details down a little bit, but put them on our David wins tonight. We'll put them on our Trapper Keepers. I like stickers more than other people, apparently. I like stickers more than most people. So we'll see. All right. Thank y'all so much. These are fun. I really enjoy these. I have a lot of fun. The Texans YouTube community is huge right now. It's getting bigger. Guys like Landry, Texans Cap, 713 Houston, 713 Houston does a great job. I'm leaving out some names and some people right now, but man, I really love doing these. I have a lot of fun at night. I mean, we're up damn near 1 o'clock Central Time talking football. Like, isn't this great? And this fun? And free agency is going to start trickling through. Then we'll really get into draft season, man. We'll go player by player and some of this stuff, man. It's going to be fun. I'm really excited for this. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I very much would appreciate a thumbs up below. I would love a subscription to this channel if you enjoy the content. I would love for you to follow me on Twitter, which is right there in the scroll, at Cody_Stutes. And I appreciate everybody tuning in late at night. As we finish these all the time at night, we want to let you know that you should eat good, sleep good, and be good. And we'll talk to you soon.